English Resources. I am re-recording this video because I couldn't get it to upload to YouTube, the previous one that I recorded. So I'm sorry that this is coming to you after 9 a.m., but hopefully this one will work on YouTube because the last one didn't. So on Monday, we watched a video that went over the idea of logical fallacies and gave us 10 different types of logical fallacies. Today, we're going to take notes on 10 logical fallacies. They're not exactly the same 10. The ones in the video were from a test prep company that made the video, and these are the 10 that I want us to focus on, but they're mostly the same. So remember what we learned on Monday is that a logical fallacy is an error in your reasoning, and when you use a logical fallacy, you're undermining or weakening your argument. In some ways, you're making it so that your argument isn't a valid argument to make anymore. And it's important for us to be able to know logical fallacies, to recognize them both in our own writing and speaking and in others. If you know what the logical fallacies are, you can avoid them when you're writing arguments, like writing your Lord of the Flies essay or your Kindred essay. But you can also recognize when other people are using them, and so you can see where their argument is the weakest so that you can attack it. So these are the 10 that we're going to focus on for today. I asked you on Monday to, on either like a little scrap of paper or on a notebook, to write down, just jot down the 10 that we watched in the video. And I want you to now go and compare and see which of these 10 that are on the screen match up to the video. So I'll give you a minute to do that. You can press pause on the video. Okay, so if you saw ad hominem is one of the ones that we learned on Monday, circular reasoning, false analogy, and hasty generalization, red herring, slippery slope, and straw man. So there are 7 that overlap, and we're going to learn 3 new ones: ad populum, non sequitur, and post hoc ergo propter hoc. And these 3 are all Latin words. So let's start with ad hominem. Ad hominem means against the man. So against is ad, hominem is the man. It's the same as like where we get homo sapiens. This is the Latin word for man. So ad hominem is when you attack the person or their character instead of attacking their claim. It looks like this. Person A makes claim X. So claim X is just whatever the claim is. Person B attacks person A and says, therefore, person A's claim is not true. What they should be attacking is claim X, not person A. Here's an example. Michael Vick is not a good football player. He is a criminal who is cruel to animals. I don't know if you all remember Michael Vick. This was a while ago. Were you in elementary school? I think so. He was a football player who was convicted of, I think, dog fighting. You all might know more about it than I do. So this argument is a logical fallacy because the claim Michael Vick is not a good football player is not supported by the evidence. The evidence is attacking Michael Vick, the person, not attacking his ability to play football. So this is an example of ad hominem. Ad populum is one of the new ones that we're learning. This is an argument where we say that the popularity of the claim is the reason why it's true. Ad, again, to or toward, populum, meaning people, same as population or populace. So for example, we would see person A makes claim X, whatever claim X is. Person A is popular, they're widely liked, therefore person A's claim is true because of his or her popularity. Another way to see it is person A, B, C, D, E, F, G make claim X. All of those people are making the same claim, therefore claim X is true because all of these people made it. We learned about this as the idea of the bandwagon appeal in the video on Monday. So for example, most people think that Gatorade is better than Powerade, so Gatorade is the superior sports drink. This is an example of ad populum because the supporting evidence that we're giving is just that most people think that it's true. We're not actually giving a reason why it is true. Begging the question, this is an argument that assumes that the premise of the claim is true. What I mean by this is it assumes that the claim is true as a way to try to prove that the claim is true. It looks like this. Claim Z assumes that Z is true, therefore claim Z is true. That might be a little confusing, but let's look at an example. Useless and wasteful plastic grocery bags should be banned. This is an example of begging the question because if the claim is plastic grocery bags should be banned, the evidence that we're giving starts with the assumption that plastic grocery bags are useless and wasteful. We haven't actually proven that that's true yet. we need to have evidence to support the claim that useless and wasteful plastic we need to have evidence that plastic grocery bags are useless and wasteful before we can make the claim that they should be banned. Circular reasoning we saw as our first example in the video on Monday. This is where the argument goes in a circle because it just restates the claim instead of proving why it's true. It looks like this. Claim A is true because of claim B. Therefore, claim B is true because of claim A. Do you see how it goes in a circle? Claim A to claim B to claim A. Here's an example. The CEO of the company is a good leader because he is the CEO of the company. This is an example of circular reasoning because we're saying the CEO of the company is a good leader, and then instead of giving evidence for why he's a good leader, like the traits that make him a good leader, we're saying because he is the CEO of the company. But that is the start of our claim here. So it's going around in a circle instead of proving why he is a good leader. False analogy is when you make a misleading comparison. So we say item A and item B are similar. Item A likes Z. Therefore, B should like Z also. And again, when we're using Z here, it just means whatever the product or idea is. So students should be able to use their notes and textbooks on exams because surgeons get to use X-ray and MRI images during surgery. This is an example of a false analogy because it is trying to make the comparison that students and surgeons are the same. That's not actually true. First of all, when students are taking exams, they're trying to prove what they know. So they should be able to do that without notes and textbooks. When surgeons are conducting surgery, they're not trying to prove that they know how to perform surgery. Hopefully they have proven that they know how to perform surgery before they're actually operating on somebody. So trying to say that students and surgeons are in the same situation is wrong. So we can't make the connection between students being able to use their notes and surgeons getting to use X-ray and MRI images. A hasty generalization is a claim that's based on insufficient evidence, and we saw this in our example on Monday. It's when we say, well, if Z is true for A, B, C, D, then it must be true for everything else. And again, here, Z is just whatever the idea or claim is. Even though it's only the first day of school, I can already tell I'm going to hate this year. We know that this is a hasty generalization because you only have one day of evidence, but you're trying to make that claim hold true for the other 179 days of the school year, and it doesn't work like that. Non sequitur is one of my favorites. Non sequitur means non, doesn't. Sequitur, follow. Sequitur is the same as, comes from the same root as like sequence or sequential. So it's when what you're saying doesn't follow from where you started. Here's an example. Students like to eat French fries. French fries are made from potatoes. Therefore, it is healthy to eat French fries every day. So if we look at this, if the claim is it is healthy to eat French fries every day, we would assume that the supporting evidence would be something to do with the health of French fries or potatoes. But instead, the evidence that we're getting is students like to eat French fries and they're made from potatoes. That has nothing to do with the health of French fries. I think I see this one a lot of times in your analysis. You might end up with a claim at the end of your body paragraph that doesn't match the quotation that you said. And a lot of times you'll see I comment on your analysis, where in the quote do you see this? That's because the supporting evidence that you're given doesn't match the claim, so you're using a non sequitur. Post hoc ergo propter hoc. This is my all-time favorite. I learned this one in 9th grade and I went around saying it all the time, which was probably super annoying. Post hoc ergo propter hoc. Post means after. Hoc means this or whatever it is. Ergo means therefore. Propter means from or because of. So it's saying because this happened after, it is a cause, or it is a result of this. I think when I show an example, it'll make more sense. Event A happens, event B happens, therefore event A must have caused event B. Here's an example. The stoplight always turns red right before I reach the intersection. Therefore, my car must be the reason why the stoplight always changes. So when I say this, you can realize, like, Miss Rice, that's crazy. Your car isn't causing the stoplight to change. The flaw that I've made in my reasoning here is I reach the intersection, the stoplight turns red, therefore my car causes the stoplight to turn red. And we know that's not true. We're saying because the stoplight turning red happens after my car reaches the intersection, it is happening because my car reached the intersection, which is a logical fallacy. A red herring is when you try to divert or distract attention from the real issue. So we're talking about issue Y, and then we use issue Z, a different issue, disguised to look relevant to Y, so that people forget the original issue and focus on issue Z. Here's an example. Energy drinks can be potentially very dangerous. However, the real danger society should be discussing is a generation of kids failing school because they are too tired to study. So this is a red herring because we start with the original claim, energy drinks can be potentially very dangerous. And then in order to distract from the idea of that, we give a different claim that seems like it's related to the fact that kids are too tired, so they're drinking energy drinks. But we're distracting from the energy drink by saying, here's the real issue that we can focus on. And it seems like it's related, again, because we're talking about kids being too tired to study, and so they might want to be able to drink energy drinks to stay awake. But now if we switch to a different claim that people can attack instead of staying on the original one. Slippery slope, we saw in the video on Monday, and a lot of you identified slippery slope as one that you see people using a lot. It's when we say event A happens, or whatever it is. Therefore, we skip all the steps that would get to event B. We just slide right down the slope to the end, to the conclusion. Here's an example. School districts have the ability to monitor student internet use at school. Therefore, the districts will eventually monitor all student activity. This is a slippery slope argument because we don't necessarily know that it's true. There's no evidence to suggest that because schools can monitor your use at school, at some point they're going to be able to see everything that you do, whether you're at school or not. So that's what's called the slippery slope. And finally, straw man. And we saw straw man in the video on Monday also. Straw man is when somebody changes the argument slightly or misrepresents it so that they can make it easier to attack. So let's say that I believe A, and then somebody says B, trying to make it sound like what I said, and then they attack B. So here's what that looks like. I prefer rainy days to sunny days. Person 2 would say, yes, but if it's never sunny out, people will die from vitamin D deficiency, all of our crops will die, and we will die of starvation. So this is a straw man argument because I made the argument originally of I like rain. Person D has changed I like rain into I want it to rain all the time and never be sunny. That's not the original argument that I said. So when person 2 changes it into I want it to rain all the time and never be sunny, they make it easier to attack that argument by saying what will happen if it's never sunny. I never made that claim originally. My claim was just I like the rain. So that's not actually an example of my argument. Okay, so we went through 10 logical fallacies, 3 of which were new to you, and on Friday we're going to do some sort of activity to help us practice identifying them. Between now and Friday, you could be looking around as you watch TV or movies or talk to your friends or to your family and see, can you start noticing when people are using logical fallacies to try to support their argument?